Be honest with me. How many fitness trackers do you own? In the 21st century, we're swimming in health information, yet global obesity rates have tripled since 1975. With over 650 million adults classified as obese, physical inactivity is literally one of the leading causes of preventable death worldwide. This is what researchers call the fitness paradox, and it represents one of the single biggest challenges in modern public health. It isn't about being lazy. It's a systemic clash between our ancient neurobiology and a modern world engineered for excess. Our brains evolved when resources were scarce. Back then, if you found sugar or fat, you ate it immediately. Survival meant resting whenever possible. Today, those same calories are available 24/7. This evolutionary mismatch is the foundation of the paradox. Your brain is literally at war with itself. The prefrontal cortex handles long-term goals, but the limbic system seeks instant rewards. When you choose between a walk or the couch, these systems go to war. Dopamine drives your motivation. When you see junk food, your brain creates a massive urge to seek it out before your CEO brain can even process the choice. Modern life drains us through decision fatigue. Every small choice you make throughout the day pulls from the same limited pool of cognitive resources. By evening, your depleted prefrontal cortex can't fight the limbic system anymore. The workout becomes Netflix, not because you're lazy, but because you're depleted. You aren't broken, you're just operating on ancient software in a modern world. Next, we'll talk about how to reclaim that control. The world built against us. So your brain is vulnerable, but it's the modern environment that exploits that vulnerability at scale. Let's talk about food. Ultra-processed foods now make up the absolute majority of calories consumed in developed nations. These aren't just less healthy than whole foods. They are deliberately engineered products designed to maximize consumption and trigger patterns that look a whole lot like addiction. Food manufacturers use a precise combination of sugar, fat, salt, and additives to hit what is known as the bliss point. This triggers your reward pathways in a way that whole foods simply do not. It lights up the brain's reward centers comparable to addictive drugs. Over time, you even build up a tolerance, needing larger and larger quantities to get the same exact reward response. And it's not just the food. It's the physical infrastructure of our lives. Modern infrastructure exploits our brain's natural desire to conserve energy. Sedentary life isn't an accident. It's the result of decades of design optimized entirely for convenience. Remote work eliminates the physical commute. Streaming services give us infinite content optimized for binge watching, removing any friction from leisure. Cars provide door-to-door transport. Delivery apps mean we never even have to leave the house to get goods. We use elevators instead of stairs, and sitting is the societal norm. Individually, these things are convenient, but collectively, they've created a world where physical inactivity is the path of absolute least resistance. Choosing to exercise now requires deliberate, effortful action to fight against the environmental default. Add in social proof. The psychological reality is that we view behaviors as more acceptable when others are doing them, and you're fighting an uphill battle. When your circle normalizes ultra-processed foods, you face a double burden. Your own internal temptation, plus external social pressure to conform. So the biology is stacked against us, and the environment is rigged, but surely we can just muscle through it, right? This brings us to the most pernicious part of the fitness paradox, the lies we tell ourselves. Have you ever heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect? In health, it manifests as us wildly overestimating our self-control. Researchers call this the restraint bias. We believe we have more willpower than we do. It's the person who thinks they can easily resist the cake at a party, or the belief that you can keep junk food in the pantry for weekends. Because we overestimate willpower, we rely on it instead of changing our environment, and when it inevitably fails, we blame ourselves. We think it's a personal weakness, rather than an unrealistic reliance on willpower. This creates the intention-behavior gap. We form intentions but fail to execute. We idealize our future self. We tell ourselves, tomorrow I'll start running, ignoring the fact that past evidence suggests we won't. We assume tomorrow will be easier, and we severely underestimate our emotions. When you eat ice cream while watching TV, it's not a lack of knowledge. You are using food as emotional regulation. When stressed or bored, your brain seeks the quickest dopamine hit, which is usually processed food or your phone. That temporary relief feels a lot more valuable in the moment than the abstract, distant benefit of good health. We need to stop fighting ourselves. If you take away nothing else from this video, let it be this. The fitness paradox is a systems-level problem, not an individual moral failing. Decades of public health advice just told us to use more self-discipline, and it has massively failed. Information is necessary, but research proves it is not sufficient. Knowing and doing happen in entirely different parts of the brain, so how do we actually bridge the gap? We stop relying on willpower and start designing our lives. Here is the evidence-based playbook for actually breaking the paradox. Number 1. Master choice architecture. You need to make healthy choices the default. Reduce the friction to do them. Lay your workout clothes out the night before. Make it the path of least resistance. Keep pre-prepped meals handy so healthy eating is easy. When the choice is already made, you don't need willpower. Increase the friction for bad choices. Remove ultra-processed foods from your house entirely. Unsubscribe from restaurant delivery apps. Put your phone in another room. Number 2. Build incremental habits. Forget the drastic New Year's overhaul. Habits are automated behaviors that reduce your cognitive load. Start incredibly small, a 5-minute walk or one extra vegetable at dinner. The goal is the habit, not the intensity. Attach these to existing habits. For example, after I pour my morning coffee, I will do 10 minutes of stretching. Use the momentum you already have. Celebrate the small wins because it reinforces the neural pathways in your brain. Missing a day doesn't ruin the habit. Consistency is what matters, not perfection. Number 3. Manage decision fatigue. Pre-decide as much as you can. Commit to the same breakfast every day, or exercise at the same time. Batch your decisions. Plan your meals and do your shopping on the weekend when your fatigue is low, so you don't have to choose on a stressful Tuesday night. Number 4. Regulate your emotions with compassion. Identify your emotional triggers. Notice if stress is driving your overeating or boredom is driving your scrolling. Find alternative strategies like walking or calling a friend. Most importantly, practice self-compassion. Shame just drives more comfort-seeking behavior. Kindness actually increases long-term adherence. The fitness paradox isn't about you being weak. It's about a brain built for scarcity in a world of abundance. Restructure your environment, automate your habits, and give yourself grace. I want to hear from you. Which trap do you fall into most? Let me know in the comments. Hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who is too hard on themselves.